Well, we have an ongoing severe threat in the south central U.S. and the Gulf Coast, but more storms will develop with the potential for some high winds later today. So ongoing severe weather threat. This is as of mid-morning Monday. We've got severe thunderstorm watches and several warnings stretching from Texas all the way to the Gulf Coast states, Alabama, Mississippi. Large cluster of showers and thunderstorms still going. Very high dew points there along the coast too. We have an enhanced risk of severe weather through the day today from eastern Texas through Louisiana into Mississippi and Alabama. Potential for tornadoes always with severe weather, but the big threat that we're looking at for later today is actually a high wind threat. Could see some straight line winds develop with clusters of storms, and also potential for some large hail. So you've got that 5% tornado area, but the hatched risk is for high winds and large hail, 2 to 4 inch hail possible today. So very muggy air, as you'd expect along the Gulf Coast, dew points in the 60s and 70s, but we do have some cooler, drier air moving in from the west. Plenty of energy to work with along the Texas coast, especially where these next storms will redevelop later here early to mid-afternoon and then move outward, eastward, and produce those potential for some high wind gusts. So upper level low just to the north. We've got a short wave, we call it, a mid-level disturbance kind of trailing around this like spokes of a bicycle tire. That will help to spark more storms here as we head into the afternoon hours. So this is looking at the mid-level patterns, 15 to 20,000 feet up, and you see this vorticity, which is sort of a form of energy or where there's lift in the middle layers of the atmosphere. So here's 2 o'clock, storms popping again in Texas, and then these will quickly bow out into a line that will produce high wind gusts through the evening into the overnight hours as they move through Louisiana. And as is always the case with these, we can see tornadoes spin up out of these. We call these sort of informally gustnadoes. So couple things that'll be going on in the mid layers. These are mid-level winds, so again, those 15 to 20,000 foot winds, and this is showing relative humidity, very dry air wrapping in around it. And what happens is that dry air hits the middle of these storms that develop, and then the rain cools in that, and then that air plummets to the ground, producing those high wind gusts and can sustain themselves for a while. Already seeing pretty high values of what we call downdraft CAPE. So we have CAPE measuring instability and energy for storms, but we have sort of the reverse of it. That parcels can accelerate down to the ground that we measure too. So here are those high wind gusts, 11 p.m. tonight, still moving across the Gulf and along the Louisiana coast, and then probably through the overnight hours along the Mississippi and Alabama coastlines too. So this is looking at the wind gust swaths in total through today into tonight, and you can see those winds accelerate and really brush the entire Gulf Coast here for those potential of over 60 mile per hour severe wind gusts. There is the chance of some tornadoes. Best tornado risk, as we were looking at earlier from Storm Prediction Center, is Louisiana to Mississippi. That's where those significant tornado parameters get a little bit higher. But primarily, we're looking at the high wind gust threat here of severe wind gusts that could brush the entire Gulf Coast Monday afternoon through Monday night.